Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Battle 1, where I talk about my first impressions on some of the newest games that have come out and I picked up. In the last episode, we took a look at Alien Fireteam Elite, and it was very early impressions because I didn't make much progress in this one yet. But if you want to see a link to that video, it will be popping up on the top right hand corner of your screen. But forget about that, in today's episode we are going to be cruising. Now it's been forever since I last played a cruising game. I remember playing the original one on the Nintendo 64 and renting that back in the days from Blockbuster. But it wasn't until Cruis'n World that the series really clicked for me as a kid. I remember borrowing it from my cousins back in the day, and hell, I still have a copy of it till to this day. Hell, I didn't even know there was a third game in the series until just recently with Exotica, so I never got around to playing that. Which brings me to this one. Cruis'n Blast on the Nintendo Switch. It just came out like a week ago, and this one just dropped out of nowhere. I remember seeing the trailer for it in that really great Nintendo Direct a few months ago, and I was like, wait a minute, cruising? A new cruising game? I don't remember the last time I played a cruising game. I'm in! And while this game was overshadowed by a bunch of different announcements from Nintendo, I was all in when I originally saw the release for this, and it got a physical release as well. Man, I needed this game and I needed to check it out because this game looked crazy. Just judging from the trailers alone, apparently this game came out in the arcades a few years back and it has a really sick looking arcade cabinet that I really want for some odd reason. But that's besides the point. Here we're talking about Cruis'n Blast on the Nintendo Switch. So how is it? This game is absolutely batshit insane, and it's not even trying to hide it. I was hoping for some great arcadey racing since I feel that is something that this generation in particularly lacks. And then I played Asphalt 9 when that came out, but Scott the Willis couldn't have said it any better. The game looks great and plays fine, but it just feels so soulless. Everything about that game feels like it's just trying to nickel and dime you at every corner. Cruis'n Blast has none of that microtransaction bullshit. It gives you different tours and you unlock everything from cars and tracks with in-game progression and currency. And what do you know? The game feels great to play. You can pop wheelies, do flips right onto wheels, do these insane jumps. Like, look at all this. It's absolutely overwhelming at times given just how fast the races are and how much is happening on this screen at once. Now when I saw the trailers, I originally thought that this was going to be too much of a clusterfuck and would just get in the way of the racing, but nope. Despite all the nonsense and crazy shit going on around you in these tracks, from a giant donut, a runaway Ferris wheel, missiles, lightning strikes, a goddamn earthquake opening the ground underneath you, nothing actually interferes with you, and that's honestly a good thing, because the amount of craziness in these tracks just add to the game's personality. Except that one time that I glitched into the environment. Yeah, this is rare. Oh, I'm good. And you call that a Yeti? No. I know a Blizzard from Primal Rage reference when I see one. You unlock cars at a steady pace as you collect keys scattered around the tracks. The more you use a specific vehicle, the more you can raise its level, which allows you to get some sick customization done, like neon, decals, and more. But you don't get to just ride cars in this one, nope. Look at this, a helicopter? A freaking unicorn? Get the hell out of my way, everyone, Charlie has to get the Candy Mountain. Look, a shark, a freaking shark on the street. Street sharks! The Switch version's main single-player mode has 4 difficulty options, a total of 6 tours with 4 tracks in each, all based on the arcade original's 5 tracks, which are still in the game in their own separate mode. One thing you'll notice, however, is how some of the race tracks are using similar environments, and to get to these extra tracks, the devs cleverly altered certain aspects of them, such as the time of day, the weather, some of the background elements, or even some reversals of those tracks, at least from the looks of it to me. They did what they had to do to add more length to the game, and I can appreciate that. I would love to see more racetracks created as DLC later down the line, so hopefully the game sells well enough for the developers to consider it. One thing to note as well is that all the races are point to point, so there aren't any circuit races with multiple laps. Apparently that's how all the cruising games were. I remember Cruis'n USA was like this. However, I could have sworn Cruis'n World had circuits with multiple laps. Could it just be my memory playing tricks on me? but some of these tracks are just way too short. Some races can be over and done with in under a minute. And one of the downsides to this game, while having split screen multiplayer for up to 4 players, it unfortunately lacks online play, which I felt was a given. Man, what is it with all these arcade style games lacking online multiplayer at launch? I mean, first Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions doesn't have online play, and now Cruis'n Blast? We're gonna talk about this game in the future, don't worry. But man, hopefully the online multiplayer is something that they're working on and launches later on at some point, because this game could definitely use it. Back to the actual racing though, the game is fun as hell from what I've played so far. Forward momentum is the name of the game, and you won't really find yourself slowing down, because if you are, then you're obviously doing something wrong. You can pull off all these crazy tricks, and you can even take down other racers, similar to Burnout's takedowns, but to a much lesser degree. All of these help gain you more money at the end of a race to use on cars, upgrades, and nitrous boosts to start off with. And even on normal difficulty, the races are challenging. You'll usually be neck and neck with other racers all the way up to the finish line. And at the end of the day, the game is just pure nostalgic fun. Not to mention the game runs like an absolute dream and looks drop dead gorgeous. I don't remember the last time I played a game this colorful before. Like seriously, look at this. All this neon and all this shiny metal, it's like a bag of Skittles and a pack of Starburst got busy one night and gave birth to this game's engine. Now let's just take a moment and appreciate just how good this game looks. Look at it. Just look at it, admire it. Breathe it in, man. This game is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, and it runs wonderfully on the Switch, even in handheld mode. The game could have definitely used some more music tracks, but let's face it, is there anything better than the main theme for the game? Overall, I'm having a fun ass time with Cruis'n Blast. It's blowing my expectations out of the water. Granted, I went in with very low expectations, and, well, it does not disappoint. Especially at the price point of $40, it's kind of like a budget release, so what's stopping you from picking this one up? Well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Battle 1 for Cruis'n Blast. I'm having an absolute, lack for a better word, blast with this one. And yeah, I'm sure you will all too if you check it out. Have you checked it out yet? And if not, what's stopping you? Have you played the Cruis'n series before? Let me know in the comment section below. And what's your favorite in the series? Mine is still going to be World, but at this point, this game is going to overtake it real fast. Now, excuse me, I have to do something here. There you are. Get your microtransaction-ridden ass out of here, you free-to-play garbage. Hey, can we get a new Ridge Racer already?